He ripped my dress when he found out I was in love with his brother. In that instant, my world fell apart, and the worst was yet to come. Subscribe to the channel and don't miss this forbidden romance. Luci and Wendel had been married for 7 years, appearing perfect to everyone else, but their home was full of silent tension and unspoken secrets. Mark, Wendel's younger brother, had come to live with them after losing his job, seeking support. At first, everything seemed normal, but subtle gestures and lingering glances slowly created an undercurrent of unease. Luci noticed every detail, yet tried to convince herself it was all harmless. Wendel trusted both of them completely, unaware of the storm brewing under his roof. The forced closeness between them was about to spark a dangerous attraction. Mark quickly settled into the house, blending with the routine of the couple. He helped around the house, joked casually, and tried to bring some normalcy into the quiet home. Luci found herself noticing the way he looked at her sometimes, a spark that made her pulse quicken. She scalded herself for the thoughts, but could not ignore them. Wendel, busy with work, remained unaware of the growing tension. And slowly, the quiet charm of Mark began to awaken desires Luci had thought long buried. Even the smallest touches began to matter. A hand brushing against hers while passing by, a shared laugh that lingered too long. Luci tried to ignore the sensations, but they ignited feelings she couldn't control. Mark seemed equally affected, catching himself staring at her at moments when Wendel's back was turned. The house, once a safe and familiar place, started to feel charged with a forbidden energy. Every glance became a secret, and every interaction a temptation. One evening, while Wendel was out running errands, Luci and Mark found themselves alone in the kitchen. The air between them thickened, heavy with unspoken desire. A brush of hands, a lingering look, and the tension became almost unbearable. They both knew this was dangerous, but neither could pull away. The risk made every heartbeat faster, every breath shallower. A storm was quietly building between them, unstoppable and secret. By the time Wendel returned, the atmosphere had shifted completely. Luci busied herself with dinner, acting natural, but her mind raced. Mark excused himself to the looting room, pretending to read, yet every moment his gaze flickered toward her. Wendel greeted them warmly, oblivious to the sparks that had already flown. But even in his trust, the first threads of suspicion would soon begin to form. The stage was set, and nothing would remain the same. The household routine started to feel like a trap. Every touch and glance between Luci and Mark fueled a silent longing. Messages were exchanged discreetly, escalating to tension, and Luci would delete some, trying to protect herself. Wendel began noticing strange details, sudden silences, diverted glances, unusual behavior. Then, while Luci and Mark whispered in the hallway, the bedroom door opened unexpectedly, leaving them frozen, only to discover it was the family cat. The near encounter only heightened their anxiety. Every glance now carried more weight. Every accidental touch seemed to set off sparks. The thrill of almost being caught added a dangerous intensity to their interactions. Luci found herself drawn more and more to Mark, even as she tried to focus on Wendel. The line between affection and forbidden desire was blurring, and neither could ignore the magnetic pull. Mark found himself watching Luci when he thought no one was looking. His pulse quickened at her slightest movement, and the unspoken tension between them became impossible to resist. The house, once a place of comfort, now felt like a cage filled with temptation. Each quiet moment alone together became charged with electricity, and both were aware that one wrong move could shatter everything. Even mundane tasks turned into moments of temptation. Passing in the kitchen, exchanging tools while fixing something, or leaning close under the guise of helping, their bodies and hearts responded instinctively. Every action, though seemingly innocent, carried the weight of their secret desire.
Wendel remained oblivious while the two danced around his presence like flames around a candle. As the day ended and Wendell returned, both tried to act normal. Lucy's hands trembled slightly while setting the table, and Mark forced himself to appear casual. Their hearts raced in synchrony, hiding a storm behind calm facades. The cat incident lingered in their minds, a reminder of how close they had come to exposure. And even as they spoke politely, the house vibrated with the tension they could no longer suppress.
The near cat incident left them both on edge, craving the forbidden. Stolen kisses in hallways and hidden touches became routine, each one more daring than the last. When Wendell left her work, Lucy and Mark surrendered completely to their desires, cherishing each stolen moment. A shared hot shower became an intoxicating ritual, blending fear with pleasure. The danger made their attraction impossible to resist. Every gesture carried secret meaning, deepening the connection they were desperate to hide. Even mundane interactions felt electric. A casual brush of the hand, a smile shared across a room, a lingering gaze, all became charged with intent. Lucy struggled to reconcile her actions with her conscience, while Mark's need grew stronger each day. The home, once a haven of comfort, now felt alive with temptation and secrecy. Every corner seemed to hold the possibility of discovery. Each passing day intensified the forbidden desire. They whispered when alone, shared fleeting touches, and felt the thrill of living on the edge. Even the simplest moments, preparing a meal, cleaning together, carried a tension that was impossible to ignore. Their passion grew, silent, but unstoppable, binding them closer. Yet every act of intimacy carried the shadow of risk. The fear of being caught only fueled their lust. Each encounter felt urgent, desperate, as if time was running out. Lucy and Mark became increasingly bold, testing the limits of secrecy. The thrill of near discovery made every touch more intoxicating. And though they knew the danger, neither could pull away from the magnetic pull that drew them together. By the evening, tension simmered beneath the surface. They carefully returned to appearances of normalcy before Wendell returned home. The house felt suffocating, as if it knew the secret that burned between them. Their hearts raised, their minds tangled, and every step was measured. And the storm of desire and fear continued to build, quietly unstoppable. Lucy knew she needed to act carefully. Any misstep could ruin everything. She began lavishing attention on Wendell, special dinners, small gestures of care, and nights of intense intimacy. She feigned desire with her husband while her thoughts were consumed by Mark. Every kiss, every caress was a performance designed to deflect suspicion, keeping the secret safe. Wendell initially believed the new attention was genuine, thinking his wife had grown more passionate. She pulled him into bed with fervor, pretending desire, while her mind wandered elsewhere. Her outward devotion masked inner betrayal. Wendell sensed something was off, though he lacked proof. The tension grew silently, unnoticed by others, but heavy in every corner of their home. Mark, on the other hand, struggled to hide his jealousy. Every act of attention Lucy gave Wendell ignited a mix of desire and frustration. He wanted her for himself, yet feared discovery. His temper flared in subtle ways, harsh words, lingering looks, and moments of silence that spoke volumes. The forbidden tension consumed him. These small outbursts did not escape Wendell's notice. He noticed her nervous smiles, her sudden changes in demeanor, her extra attentiveness. Even without concrete evidence, intuition warned him that something was amiss. Every evening became a silent battlefield, each interaction carrying hidden weight. The household was a delicate balance, on the verge of collapse. The house, once a symbol of harmony, now felt like a minefield. Lucy tried to maintain the act, keeping Wendell unaware while nurturing Mark's obsession. The more she tried to control the situation, the more explosive the jealousy became. And Wendell, patient and perceptive, waited quietly, aware that the time to act was approaching. Wendell began quietly observing every detail, glances, gestures, and nervous smiles. Lucia kept up her perfect act, but subtle inconsistencies did not escape him. Mark, consumed by jealousy, could no longer hide his frustration, his impatience visible in small ways. Every movement and interaction was recorded in Wendell's mind like pieces of a puzzle waiting to form. Their secret seemed untouchable, but Wendell's attention created a pressure almost unbearable, keeping everyone on edge. Even the smallest incidents carried weight. A fleeting touch, a shared look, or a whisper in the hallway could reveal everything. Lucia felt the tension tightening around her, making every breath heavier. Mark sensed the watchful eyes, and his heart raced with fear and desire. The house felt charged, alive with silent threats. Every action now mattered, and no one could relax. The quiet observation was a game of patience. Wendell said nothing, choosing to gather evidence silently. He noted each glance, every small hesitation, and every heartbeat that betrayed guilt. Lucia tried to maintain composure, but the constant scrutiny was suffocating. Mark, frustrated and tense, often clenched his fist or sighed loudly, revealing what he thought hidden. The tension grew day by day. Evenings became particularly difficult. Lucia's gestures of care for Wendell had to be flawless, hiding her inner turmoil. Mark's jealousy flared unpredictably, creating moments of tension that threatened to reveal the truth. The careful balance of deceit, desire, and observation was exhausting for all three. Every step, every word was measured. One mistake could set off a chain reaction. Despite the pressure, the attraction between Lucia and Mark could not be extinguished. Their secret burned quietly but intensely. Wendell's patient observation made the danger real, adding a thrilling edge to every encounter. The house, once a place of comfort, had transformed into a stage for desire, secrecy, and silent battles. And the storm that had begun would only intensify in the days to come. Lucy and Mark began taking even greater risks. Every kiss, every touch, and every stolen glance carried danger. The thrill of secrecy made each moment more intense, and they could feel the tension mounting. Wendell, ever watchful, seemed to sense when something was amiss. Though he still lacked proof, the household had become a minefield where each move was weighted with risk. Every routine interaction now felt charged, passing in the hallway, brushing hands while cooking, or leaning close under the pretext of helping. Each moment carried secret meaning. The tension between them was palpable. Their hearts raced, and every breath seemed louder than usual. The forbidden desire had transformed into a quiet, insistent obsession. Mark's impatience grew. He could barely contain himself, feeling frustration and longing in equal measure. Lucy's careful control could only hold him back so much. The danger made their connection irresistible, pushing them closer even when they wanted to resist. Wendell's presence hung over them like a shadow, always watching. Even brief interactions in the evening carried risks. A casual laugh, a touch on the shoulder, or a fleeting gaze might betray them. Each incident made them shiver with both excitement and fear. Their passion, once hidden, became impossible to contain. The house vibrated with tension. By the time night fell, both knew that one misstep could reveal everything. Lucy tried to maintain calm, Mark struggled with frustration, and Wendell remained silent, observing every nuance.
The storm of desire and danger continued to grow, unstoppable and quietly urgent. Their lives were now a constant balancing act between pleasure and exposure.
It was as if Wendell were setting a trap, waiting for the perfect moment. Subtle comments, strategic silences, and deliberate glances tested Lucy and Mark. Every gesture was carefully analyzed, every word measured. Lucy intensified her performances with Wendell, pretending desire while her mind lingered on Mark. Mark's jealousy flared unpredictably, further complicating the tension. Wendell's silence was deliberate, his observation precise. He recorded each reaction, watching for signs of guilt or betrayal. Lucy felt her nerves tighten. Every small movement under his watchful gaze amplified her anxiety. The intensity of the situation made the forbidden connection between her and Mark even harder to ignore. Every day felt like walking a tightrope. Even mundane tasks became tests of skill. Lucy had to maintain perfect composure while secretly longing for Mark. Mark, meanwhile, struggled to keep his jealousy and desire in check. The risk of discovery added urgency to every touch, every glance. Wendell's presence overshadowed every moment, silently commanding attention and control. The tension was electric. Lucy and Mark could feel the invisible pressure rising as if a storm were building quietly around them. Wendell's patience made him appear calm, but Lucy knew he was always calculating, waiting for the moment to act. Every heartbeat, every interaction carried the weight of secrets waiting to explode. As the night drew on, the forbidden energy between them remained unbroken. Wendell's quiet observation, Lucy's feigned passion, and Mark's growing impatience created a volatile mix. Each knew that the situation could spiral out of control at any moment. The stage was set, and only one misstep would ignite the inevitable confrontation. The inevitable moment finally arrived. Wendell stepped into the hallway and caught Lucy and Mark together. Every touch, every glance, every hidden secret was exposed in an instant. Their eyes met in shock and disbelief. The house, once a place of quiet routine, was now charged with raw tension and emotion. The air seemed to vibrate with anger, betrayal, and desire. Lucy tried to explain herself, words faltering under the weight of the moment. Mark looked stunned, guilt and passion mixing in his eyes. Wendell, calm but intent, observed them as if measuring the depth of their guilt. Secrets that had simmered for months now erupted all at once. Then Wendell revealed his own hidden truth, turning the confrontation into chaos. Each confession hit like a bomb, leaving everyone unsteady and disoriented. The balance of power shifted unpredictably, and all three were forced to reevaluate what they thought they knew. Nothing would ever be the same. The tension escalated to a breaking point. Every glance, every movement carried meaning, a mixture of fear, desire, and anger. Lucy and Mark searched desperately for a way to escape judgment, while Wendell maintained control with silent authority. The walls of the house seemed to close in, echoing their turmoil. By the night's end, the full weight of the situation settled over them. Wendell had caught them. Secrets had been exposed. And the forbidden desire that had fueled their actions now seemed unbearable. The stage was set for the consequences that would follow, leaving no room for denial. The immediate aftermath was chaotic. Sharp accusations and heated arguments filled the hallway, while every word seemed to ignite new tension. Lucy tried to justify herself, but her explanations fell short. Mark, overwhelmed by guilt and jealousy, struggled to respond. Wendell, composed yet furious, controlled the confrontation with a steady presence. Each revelation opened a door to more secrets. Wendell disclosed his own betrayal, turning the situation into total chaos. Every lie, every hidden moment now came to light. The balance between love, trust, and desire shattered completely. The household felt like a battlefield, with each heartbeat echoing the tension. Even minor gestures carried enormous weight. A glance, a movement, or even silence could reveal hidden truths. Lucy and Mark felt trapped under Wendell's penetrating gaze, desperate for forgiveness or escape. Their hearts raced, adrenaline mixed with regret and desire. The house vibrated with the energy of exposed secrets. As the confrontation continued, emotions surged unpredictably. Anger, jealousy, and lingering passion intertwined, making every interaction volatile. Wendell's control kept them on edge, while Lucy and Mark navigated the dangerous fallout of their actions. Trust had evaporated, leaving fear and longing in its place. By nightfall, the three were exhausted, emotionally drained, but unable to separate from one another. Every decision from that point on would be permanent, shaping the future of their relationships. The storm had arrived, leaving them to face the consequences of their choices. The final climax revealed all truths, leaving nothing hidden. Every secret, every lie had been exposed, and the tension reached its peak. Lucy, Mark, and Wendell faced their realities, confronting the limits of passion, loyalty, and desire. The house, once a haven, now held only consequences. Lucy tried to express herself, to plead for understanding, but the truth was overwhelming. Mark struggled to reconcile his desires with the chaos surrounding him. Wendell, steady and composed, showed the weight of betrayal while maintaining control. Each person had to decide how to move forward. The emotional intensity became unbearable. Every glance, every word, every heartbeat carried the weight of revelation. Lucy realized that the life she knew was gone, replaced by uncertainty and raw emotion. Mark understood the price of forbidden desire, while Wendell grappled with the pain of deception. By the end of the night, all three had learned hard lessons. Love, passion, and betrayal had left permanent marks on their hearts. The experience had exposed vulnerabilities and forced each to confront personal truth. No one would leave unscathed. In the aftermath, the house stood silent, a witness to the storm of emotion. Every secret was out, every lie revealed, and each of them realized that life, love, and desire carry consequences that can never be undone. The past was gone, and nothing would ever be the same. Life is full of choices, and sometimes desire leads us down paths we never imagined. Lucy, Mark, and Wendell learned that secrets, even the ones we think are harmless, can change everything in an instant. Passion without boundaries comes at a cost, and loyalty, once broken, leaves marks that never fully heal. The storm they faced revealed truths they could no longer ignore. Each had to confront their own desires, fears, and mistakes. What seemed exciting and irresistible became a lesson in trust, consequences, and the complexity of human emotions. The line between love and betrayal is thinner than we often realize. In the end, the house no longer felt like a home of comfort. It became a place of reflection, where every action mattered and every secret had weight. Sometimes the most intense experiences leave the deepest lessons. What matters most is how we choose to face the truth and rebuild our lives after chaos. If this story moved you, pause and ask yourself, how do you handle temptation, desire, and trust in your own life? Are there secrets you keep that might one day change everything? Reflection is the first step to understanding and growth. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that explore the depths of passion, love, and human emotion. Every story teaches us something about ourselves. What will you take from this one?